This week in post, a little light masking to blend two photos together. Hey everybody, I'm Scott Davenport and welcome to In Post. Thanks for joining me today. If this is the first time you're watching one of my videos, thanks for giving me a try. Hope you like what you see, and if you do, subscribe to the channel. And also, I always want to get your photography questions. You can contact me directly through my website, comments below on the video. I usually turn answers around in a couple of days, and I might use your question to fuel a full-blown episode of In Post or In the Field. So with that, let's talk about today's topic. Last week, actually, I did a blog post about when do I use layers versus when do I use something like develop an effect if we're talking about on one photo. And I got a bunch of questions about the blending that I showed on the this ship that I did earlier this week. You saw some of that shipwreck on In the Field. So I thought I'd take a few minutes and show you the basics of how that blending job went. So let's get to it. So I've got my two photos in Lightroom, these two guys here. And what I want to do is I like the way the ship is here, and I can see more of this edge of the boat itself. But I really like the way this whitewash came in over the bow of the ship. So I want to take both of these and blend them together. So I'm going to go to File, Plug in Extras, and send these over as layers to On1 Layers. And that will take both of those photos and put them in a single document already layered for me so I can go right into my masking. So I'll hit that. I'll join you over when we get to On1 Photo. All right, so here we are in On1 Layers. And it so happened that when I sent them over from Lightroom, the one with the whitewash is on the top layer. And if I were to turn that layer off, then we'll see the boat on the bottom. I actually want the reverse. I'm going to put this guy on the top. And let me double click and label this, shipwreck. And then I'll double click on the bottom layer and label that whitewash. So what I'll do is I'll do all my masking work on the shipwreck layer and to reveal some of this whitewash. Now, for the most part, this is all in the bottom section of the photo. That's where I'll be working. And so normally I would probably reach for a gradient tool, but there's enough details in here, and I think I'm going to do some painting around just with a brush and use a lower opacity so I can selectively increase the whites that show through. So let's turn back on this shipwreck layer. And I guess really what I want is I want to get that white stuff coming in over here. I want to keep some of this foreground beach because I think that's kind of nice. So let's grab a masking brush and I'll lower the opacity to like maybe 40 or 37. Yeah, that's fine. The number's not that important. I'm going to increase that brush. I have it set to paint out, so we're going to remove some of this top layer we're selected on. So now as I start to paint, you're going to start to see, that whitewash start to come in. I'm going to go a full, 30 to 40-ish% sweep across the foreground there, just to get the basics going here. Okay, now I've let go of the trackpad. I'm not clicking anymore. I'm going to start doing a second pass, and we're going to start seeing more of that whitewash show up. And now I'm going to do a third pass. So these brush strokes are additive, and maybe even one more. I really do like getting some of that play in there. Now, I think here I've gone a little bit too far on some of the darker parts of the front of this boat here, like rocky concrete type stuff. So I'm going to reduce my brush size. I'm going to press the X key. Now I'm in paint in mode. I'm also going to turn on the perfect brush. That's just right up here. I can also use Command or Control R to turn that on. And now I can just concentrate on just make sure those rocks don't get too hidden. And I'm just doing little single clicks here. Not doing too much, but just enough so that I'm not completely making those bits of concrete and moss and everything that's on there, kind of foggy and faded. I'm letting those things shine through. Maybe one more like that. So something like that. If I press the O key, I can take a look at what the mask looks like. And maybe now I can see it. I'll hit that spot one more time. Let's make that brush even smaller and just get right in on that little sweep of the rock there. And from here I could fine tune this a whole bunch if I really needed to. But that's as straightforward as it is. The key to this is the field technique, setting up your tripod, taking several photos of a single scene without changing your composition. And when you have things moving through the scene, it's a really good way to accomplish this type of look. But the masking and the blending part becomes pretty easy. So what would I do to finish this off? I would go from here, I would create a new stamped layer. So I would say layer, new stamped layer. And what that does is it takes the contents of both of these and puts them on a single layer. So now if I hide everything else, all I have is what's called Shipwreck 1. I turn it off, I have nothing. I turn it on, I've got the combined whitewash with the rest of this nice boat. And from here I can do any other stylization that I want to do. The tip of the week, what I'd say is when you're doing some type of blending or masking and the shape of what you're trying to mask isn't clear cut, work with the masking brush. And you notice I didn't use the edge detection until the very end. I got my basics done and then I fine-tuned it. And that's sometimes what has to happen, right? You do pluses and minuses. You know, you're adding, you're taking away from the mask to fine-tune it. But that masking brush is a really good choice at a low opacity to kind of build up your mask and craft it to just how you want it. And that's going to do it for this week in post. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, let me know somehow. Comments on the video are great. Social shares are always appreciated. Questions, keep sending them in. Love getting questions. And hopefully my answers are helping you out so that we're all becoming better photographers together. Until next time, my name is Scott Davenport, and happy shooting.